Hello and welcome to the Easter Sunday edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and a very happy Easter to you all. And we've got a very, very special puzzle for you today. It's called Miracle Junior, and this harks back to the days when I tackled the original Miracle Sudoku, which only had 2 given digits in it. Now this puzzle has a 50% improvement. It has got 3 given digits, not a huge number of digits, you might say, in a puzzle. And this puzzle, by the way, is by Just Kirb, which I think makes this a debut on the channel for Just Kirb. But the really interesting thing to me about this puzzle is that the Miracle Sudoku had a knight's move constraint, a king's move constraint, and a non-consecutive constraint. This puzzle has a knight's move constraint, a king's move constraint, and then a no domino in the grid can contain digits summing to 5 or 10. So there's no non-consecutive constraint. Now the non-consecutive constraint is hugely powerful. So this feels to me like there's been a bit of a trade-off. We've got an extra digit, but the setter has given themselves quite a stern test in terms of this no domino summing to 5 or 10 rule. And the testers say this is a really, really beautiful puzzle. So if you're a fan of Miracle Sudokus, and why on earth would you not be, you must have a go at this one. I'm sure we all have a bit of spare time at Easter, don't we? Now, what can I tell you about before I kick off and have a crack at the puzzle? We've got our Knightmare Sudoku hunt, of course. Oh, actually, I'm going to segue there. We do have a Knightmare Sudoku hunt available now. But one of the constructors behind the Knightmare constraint that features in the Knightmare on Sudoku Street is Riff Clown. And today is Riff Clown's 60th birthday. So Riff Clown, many, many happy returns, my friend. What a prestigious age you have reached, and what an absolute doyen of the Sudoku community you are. The feedback we've been getting on this hunt has been absolutely lovely. People are loving it. So what is the Knightmare constraint? Well, actually, it's basically the idea that cells separated by a knight's move in chess cannot sum to 5 or 15 in that hunt, and there are 19 puzzles in all. I've been astonished, frankly, by how many of you have actually solved all 19 already. But yeah, that is available for anybody who would like to solve it over on Patreon right now, where you can support the channel, and we are so grateful to all of you patrons who do that. Many, many, many thanks. Oh, and by the way, Riff Clown, the reason we knew it was your birthday is Susan wrote to us about it, so you can thank her. Now, the only other thing I wanted to mention is last month's patron reward, where I'm still working through the names of successful solvers of the whole of Alice in Sudoku Land. So well done to the following people: Martin Arts, Harrison Beer, Lennart Metrop, Sampath Kumar, Jamie Parker, Stuart Emerson, Matt Farrell, and Dr. Lucason's Lions, Heather Trout, Dan Friedman, who asks if at 6 feet 9 inches he's our tallest viewer. I'm not sure you are, actually, because Tall Cat, I know, is a very tall cat indeed. I'm not sure if Tall Cat beats 6 feet 9, but he might do. Let us know if you're if you beat Dan Friedman's prodigious height. Also, congrats to Alex Miller, Simon Lorin, Paws Purplewolf, Eleanor Godward, Parker Bond, and Steve Newbold. You all solved the whole thing correctly. Fantastic work, one and all. Now, I'm going to read you the rules of Miracle Junior. I don't think this is meant for junior solvers. The tester certainly didn't say that. I don't know why it's called Miracle Junior. But these are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, i.e. place the digits 1 through 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. So normal Sudoku rules. Cells separated by a king's move in chess cannot contain the same digit. So let's use this 3 as an example. So if this 3 was a chess king, basically a chess king could move to all of those cells. So none of those cells are allowed to contain a 3. Now many of these cells could not have contained a 3 just because normal Sudoku rules prevent it. So all of those cells would already not have been able to be 3. But you can see that there's sort of an immediate diagonal constraint that kicks in and affects. So we couldn't have 3 in any of those yellow cells, which obviously the 1 is one of those. But that's how king's move constraints work. Now next, cells separated by a knight's move in chess cannot contain the same digit. So let's put a 5 in the middle of the grid. And if that was a chess knight, it could jump to all of those cells, and therefore none of those cells could be a 5. So we cannot have the same digit a knight's move apart in this puzzle, otherwise we'll get it wrong. That's not the idea. So let's delete all that. Now, no domino in the grid can contain digits summing to 5 or 10. So let's think about how that might work in relation to this 3 that we're given. Basically, that means that we can't put 7 into any of those cells, because if we did, we would make a domino that summed to 10. And we can't put 2 into any of those cells, because if we did, obviously that domino there would sum to 5. Can't put it there either, because this domino would sum to 5. Where we could put the 2 was there, because that is not a domino. That is something else. I'm not sure exactly how I describe it, but it's not a domino. So there we go. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play, as always on Cracking the Cryptic, is to click the link in the video description and you will be taken to a page that looks identical to this one, where you can play the puzzle on whichever device takes your fancy. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I have to tell you this, although we have a Miracle Sudoku app, and I made puzzles for that, and obviously solved a lot of puzzles in testing it, I haven't done a Miracle Sudoku for a very long time, so I'm going to be out of practice. But I mean, my temptation here is to look immediately at where 3 can go, and possibly 1 in the middle box, because the knight's move and the king's move constraint are just massively powerful. In fact, the 3 is a good thought, because the 3 is also affected by the domino rule. So where does 3 go in the middle box? Well, let's rule out the Sudoku cells first. None of those can be a 3. Now let's rule out the king's move. That cell can't be a 3. Now let's rule out the knight's move. Neither of those can be a 3. Now let's rule out the dominoes summing to 5. Well, that rules out that one, because 3 plus 2 is 5, and that only leaves 1 cell. So we get a 3 immediately in the grid. And I think what we should do is immediately try and propagate the 3s. So 3 is obviously in one of those 3 cells, but it can't be here for 2 reasons. Firstly, the knight's move. Secondly, the domino. So 3 moves down here. 3 in this box. Can't be in those cells because of the king's move and Sudoku. Knight's move takes care of those. We get a 3 in one of these 2 cells. 3's got to be in one of these four positions. Now, often I would not corner pencil mark 3's in such an absolute congregation of cells. But in Miracle Sudokus, it often pays to do ludicrous amounts of pencil marking, because there are so many surprising constraints. I mean, let's pencil mark 3 in this box. Actually, no, that's not really going to work. But okay, it's in one of 4 places. I'm still going to pencil mark it. Yeah, now, here's a mildly interesting thing about box 7. Where does 3 go? We've got a pencil mark up here, so 3 is not in those cells. But because of this pencil mark, we can't put a 3 in either of these 2 cells either, because either of these cells, because of the knight's move constraint, would take care of both of these and frank them in a nasty way. So 3 is actually... look, that 3 sees that one. Right, so 3 is in one of 3 positions only, which knocks it out up there. And that might not be good enough. Well, 3 in box 9, I think we're tilting at windmills a bit with that. 3 can't go there, and I can see, for example, it can't go in either of those 2 cells. Oh no, it can go in this one. I'm wrong. It can't go in that one, because that will see this cell, this cell, this cell, and this cell. It can go in that one, though, because although that wipes out all those 2 would be legitimate, wouldn't they? So I think it's got an absolute, yeah, it's got a multitude of places it can live, I fear, in box 9. And the response to that is the standard one, bobbins. But okay, I'm going to change tack then. I'm going to look at 1 in the middle box, because I can immediately see it can't go anywhere apart from there. Those are ruled out by Sudoku, those are knight's moves away, and that's a king's move away. So we can place 1 here, which means we can, look, yes. Where does 1 go in row 5? Well, it's in one of these 3 cells by Sudoku, but these 2 see that 1 because of the ludicrous rules. So this is the 1. Let's try 1 in box 8. Boom, 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 boom. We're getting quicker at scanning this. That's going to be the same, isn't it? So 1 is sort of overlapping with 3s up there in the corners. Okay. Oh dear, no, I might be about to get very badly stuck, I fear. Yeah, I really might be. Hang on. What's going on? 1 is in one of those cells. 1, oh dear, come on. Actually, no, this box must be, the 1 must be restricted, because this one does look in to some extent. Okay, 1 is in one of 3 positions. Yes, and this is good. Okay, so the way to do this quickly, actually, was to switch tack, and rather than look at boxes, was to look at rows. And we could have asked, and I should have asked probably, where does 1 go in row 7? Because this 1 is awfully powerful. It rules out all of those cells through a combination of Sudoku, knight's moves, and king's moves. This 1 sees that 1. That 1 sees that 1. So 1 is in a surprising domino. And it is a surprising domino, but it's not a very useful one. No, okay. Oh, I've got something. Right, okay. This is classic. This is classic miracle Sudoku nonsense. Where does 1 go in box 2? And the answer at first blush is in an awful lot, well, at least 3 places. These 3. Because this 1 pokes in and knocks those out. But now look, we can ask the same question about row 3. Where does 1 go? And the combination of all of these various things means it can only go in 1 position exactly. And that knocks it out of here by Sudoku, and there by knight's move. So 1 is in one of these, 1 is here exactly. That's going to do some damage. Oh, this is doing marvellous stuff. Like, now look at where 1 goes in box 9, 1 position left. That knocks it out of this one, so 1's in one of these, so this isn't a 1, so that's a 1. And I've noticed also that this 3 pencil mark up here knocks this out from being a 3, so that's become a 3. And let's just give this a moment. Can we do any more miraculous stuff? Okay, I don't know. I mean, we're left with, I think we've got 7 1s in the grid, so we're left with 1s in that arrangement, which we're not going to be able to break up from the digits that we've placed. So we're either going to need something like 4s to displace these 1s or something like that, or just another digit. We need another digit to get placed somewhere in those dominoes to break up this pattern of 1s. And what we haven't done yet is thought about 2 either, so that's probably the next port of call. Where does 2 go in this box? Well, by Sudoku and all of the various constraints, it's pushed into the bottom row. Which is, I've just had another thought actually, which is not very useful here, but let me tell you what the thought is. And the thought about 2s, well, it's going to be relevant up there. The 2 could not go in either of those squares, because if it did, it would put the 3 in the other cell and create a domino that added up to 5. So we do need to be a little bit, yeah, in fact, look, that's it. I'm going to come straight back down to box 8. How could this be a 3? if that's a 3, it will be next to a 2 on one side of it, and it will create a naughty domino. And we mustn't create naughty dominoes. So that's a 3. Okay, so that's push 3 down there, which makes this a 3. And that means this can't be a 2, because that would create a naughty domino. This can't be a 3. It's too close to this 3 by king's movage. So that becomes a 3. That knocks 3 out of here. Oh, right, look, where does 3 go in column 7? This 3 rules the roost out of those cells, and that 3 rules the roost over those cells. So there's actually only one place for it. And look, we get left with a similar pattern for 3s that we've got left for 1s. But I'm sort of hopeful that we might be able to resolve this now. Let me just think about this for a second. Yeah, well, okay. I can't resolve that, but I can ask where 2 goes in this row. And these pencil marks tell me there's a 2 in one of those cells, but we can't put it next to the 3 without creating naughty dominoes. So that's a 2. Now, knight's move and king's move, and not creating naughty dominoes here, puts a 2 here, which puts a 2 there, because these would be chess moves away. So now, surely... Oh yes, okay, now this would create a naughty domino if we put 2 there. So 2 goes here. This is why sort of miracle Sudokus are just, they really are fun to solve. Again, look, where does the 2 go in this box? It's got to go there. And now, well, that's not a 2, so this is a 2. That can't be a 2, it would be king's move away. So that's a 2, that's a 1 by pencil marking. And we have done all the 2s in the grid. We have now done all the 1s in the grid. Now all we've got left to do is these 3s. No, yeah, then we can do it. Don't create naughty dominoes. There we go. All the 3s are done. So now it's going to be a question. Well, literally, we've got to totally rethink our strategy now, because we have literally finished the 1s, 2s and 3s in the puzzle, and we've got to place 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8s and 9s. So what are the very restricted digits? I mean, cells like this obviously can't be 8 or 7 now, because that will create 10 dominoes, which are naughty. Hang on a minute, let me think about this. So the 2 is affecting the 3 and the 8. The 3s have been placed. The 2 has 1 digit it now affects. The 1 has 2 digits it now affects, because it still affects 4s. So 4s and 9s can't go next to 1s. And 3s did affect 2s, but now they can only affect 7s. So I feel like it's 4s and 9s that are now the most restricted, because neither can go next to a 1. Now, I'm just thinking about this now. So do we... I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all the cells that can be 4s and 9s. So that's basically, that's going to be a lot of cells there. It's going to be anything that's not orthogonally adjacent to a 1. I think this is not actually going to work, is it? Even with the profoundness of this constraint. Well, okay, box 4 is... but actually box 4 is much better, because it's got 3 cells that would be orthogonally adjacent to 1s. So actually... no, that might have just died an immediate death. There's literally no constraint. Oh no, actually that's a 1. So there is a small constraint. We can reduce box 5 to a W pentomino. Box 6 isn't too bad. That cell. Yeah, okay. Let me just double check this. Am I... Oh, hang on. That cell is next to a 1. Why have I highlighted that one? That's so disappointing. I was about to get rid of this one from being green on the basis that it would rule out greens entirely in box 6. So imagine that was a 4. Ignore this one. If that was a 4, you couldn't have actually placed 4 anywhere then in box 6. But obviously, actually, because it's next to a 1 already, it didn't deserve its greenly status. So it was punching above its weight. Oh, we've got 2 cells there in box 9. This I think is a fool's errand, I'm afraid. I don't think I'm doing the right thing here. Let me just mull this over. Is there any cell now in the greens that would rule out green from another box? So I'm thinking, you know, it's almost cells like that one, because that obviously gets rid of these 2, but it doesn't get rid of this one. So I think that that's okay. That's okay. That's not okay. Okay, so that cell can't be green because that would rule green entirely out of box 8. Oh, bobbins. No, hang on, that can't be green because it's next to a 1. And what are you doing? You see, this is what I'm going to have got wrong here. Let's double click all the 1s. Now, are any of these 1s orthogonally next to a green? No. Alright, so this is better. Right. Okay, that is much better actually, because I have now noticed something. I've noticed one thing. I've almost noted 2 things. I'll tell you, right, the one thing I've noticed is in this column there's only 2 green cells. So those 2 squares have to be the 4 and the 9 in this column. Now we've almost got something similar in this row, look. In fact, aha, right. Yes, this is where we're going to look now, because that digit, whatever it is, let's give it its own colour. We'll make it blue. So whether this is 4 or 9, where does it live in row 8? Now, it can't be here because it would be in the same box as itself, and it can't be there. It would be a king's move away from itself. So its only possible cell is that. So that is now whatever this is, and then by Sudoku, it's there. And now it's in one of these 2. Hang on. It's in one of those 2, which means it's in one of these 3. One of those 2. One of these 3. So, yeah, okay. I think we're going to have to be quite careful here. I'm actually going to highlight all of those cells as possibly blue, just to show you what I'm thinking. In this box now, where is the blue digit? It's not there. It would wipe blue out of box 1. And it's not here. It would wipe blue out of box 1. So blue is in one of those, which means blue is in one of these. And that's about as useful as a chocolate teapot, isn't it? Ah, you rotten thing. Sorry, I thought that was going to be quite profound. Okay, well let's instead of that, let's think about this digit then. Let's make that yellow. So where's yellow in the world of... Yeah, that's good. Where does yellow go in this box now? That's got to be yellow. And now all of a sudden, look, that cell has lost its greenliness, because that cell can be neither blue nor yellow. So that one we can take out of the equation. Where does yellow go in this box? It's got to go there by Sudoku. That takes that one out of the panoply of greenlinesses. Right, so yellow is in one of those 2 squares. Again, that loses its greenliness. Yellow has only one spot now in box 4 because of these yellows and these yellows. and the fact that these two see each other. So this is yellow, which is nearly going to be useful. Oh, right, hang on. Where does yellow go in that box? And the answer is I don't know, but it's definitely in there, look. So yellow is placed in box 6, and that places yellow in box 5, and that doesn't seem to place yellow. Somewhat amazingly, it doesn't seem to place yellow in box 8. That is ridiculous. It's still in 2 places. That loses its greenliness, because that could be neither green nor yellow now. These both lose their greenliness. Okay, so it might actually be worth getting rid of the greenlinesses now, I think. Because effectively, we've plotted the positions of blues and yellows, haven't we? These are all of the possible cells. Now I'm sure there's going to be ways we could do better, actually. Let me just give that a second or two's thought. No. No, that would be more a Tigger bounce than a knight's move, wouldn't it? So, oh, well, hang on. Those can't be. That can't be yellow. It's too close to this one. So that's yellow. Aha. Right. So that is useful. So now this has become, well, all the yellows are done. We've just got all the yellows. I just missed this connection here. So can we finish off the blues? That's going to be the next challenge. And the answer to that, where have we definitely got blues? We've definitely got these 3 blues. We've got a couple of dominoes. Okay, I don't know actually. So this column then, is that what we're meant to think about now? What have we got? We've got 5, 6, 7 and 8. So, oh, nearly. Oh yes, done it. Okay, I've done it. Where does 7 go in this column? That's the question we should have asked. I could have asked that question a while ago. Where does 7 go in this column? It can't go in a cell that's orthogonally adjacent to a 3 because it will create a 10 domino. So 7 is exactly there. Look, bobbins. I should have seen that before. So 7 is now in one of these 2 cells. Let's see if we can. Let's see what damage we can do with the 7s of the world. So 7 is now not there because it would see both those 7s. So 7 is in one of those 3. Don't forget, it can't be in a blue or a yellow square unless the blue and the yellow square have, there's more than one of them in a box. Okay. So let's have a look maybe. Yeah, okay, let's have a look at 7 in this box, because it can't go here by Sudoku and it can't be orthogonally adjacent to the 3, so it's in one of 2 places, and that places it rather beautifully in box 5, because it can't go there, it would make a naughty domino, it can't go there, it would make a naughty domino, so it must go there, taking away a blue cell, so that forces this to be blue, which forces that not to be blue. And the 7 runs the absolute rule over this box. Well, nearly anyway. It puts the 7 in one of these 2 cells. 7 is now in one of these 2 squares in box 3. And they both rule out this one. If there was a 7 in either of these, it would see that through the chess constraints. So that becomes 7. Which means 7 can't go next to 3, so that becomes 7. And 7 can't go next to 3, so 7 is in one of these 2 cells in box 1, knocking it out of here, placing it here, which knocks that cell out from being blue again. So this is now not 7, that's become a 7, knocking this one out from being blue, placing blue there. So all of a sudden, look, let's double click these 7s and see if we can finish off 7s now. That's ludicrous. Oh no, no it's not, it's fine. This 7 sees that one. I was about to be very upset. That puts 7 there, which knocks it out of here, which places it here. Oh, okay. And we get left with a naughty sort of unfinishable pattern of 7s. Okay, but that was very cool. So 7s are now very nearly done, aren't they? And we got some blues as a result of that, although somehow or other the blues still seem to want to not be finished, which is really weird. Okay, let's try 8s then. Actually, I say 8s. I'm not sure I like the look of 8s very much. I'm just trying to think about what's affected by the negative constraint though. Yeah, I am going to try 8 because of where it can go in this box actually, because it can't go in any of those squares because it would be next to a 2 and make a naughty 10 domino. So 8 is in one of 2 places. Yes, 8 is in one of 2 places over here. And 8 is in one of 2. Oh, that's done it. That's done it. Look, 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 look. So the 8 in this box is in... It can't go next to a 2, and it can't be on top of a yellow, because yellow is a 4 or a 9, so 8 is placed. And that knocks 8 out of here, which places 8 here, which makes this cell, you've guessed it, not blue. So this is blue, that's not blue, therefore. So this is blue, that's not blue. That's seeing that cell. I think I could have done that before, but didn't see it. So all my blues are now done, and I suspect we can go absolute ham on 8s now. Yes, where does 8 go in this box by Sudoku? It's got to go here. Where does 8 go? Here. It's got to go there. Remember, we can never put it on a yellow or blue cell anymore. So that's become an 8. That's become an 8. This has become an 8. Now this is where it gets terrifying, doing these puzzles, because if you've made a mistake it will quickly come and bite you. 5s and 6s now, so 5s and 6s. The only thing affecting 5 is nothing, basically. So 6s can't go next to 4s. Which is presumably in some way going to work and be important, but I don't quite know how yet. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Let's look at this box, because that by Sudoku is a 5-6 pair. Now, therefore, if this was a 4, if yellow was a 4, it will be making a naughty domino with a 6 in one direction or another. So yellow has to be 9, and that means that blue has to be 4. And now, where does the 6 go in that box? Not next to the 4. So that's 6, that's 5, that's 6, that's 5, that's 6, that's 5, that's 5, that's 6, that's 6. Oh, the 7s are still not fixed. That's weird. The 5 and 6 go here, 5 and 6 go here. 6 gets pushed into the corner, correcting the 7s, giving us the 5 here. And I think I've just flurried with a finish. Wasn't that absolutely beautiful? What a great puzzle, Just Kirb. That was really interesting. So it was a classic miracle, in the sense that there was all sorts of absolute nonsense you could do in the grid with these crazy patterns. But it had a bit of depth to it, because even after we got quite far with 1s, 2s and 3s, we had to use colouring, or I had to use colouring at least, to do 4s and 9s, and then it was sort of 7s and 8s, and you could keep sort of generating new logic, and then we finished with a flourish. I absolutely love that. What a delightful way to spend Easter. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.